Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comic in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Shotty. And today, we're reviewing some X-Men stuff. And you can tell from my tone of voice, I'm really thoroughly excited about this concept. It's not that I dislike the X-Men. I think they're a worthwhile thing, and there's been a lot of really good people who've worked with them, either writing or doing artwork. And I think the Hickman joining up and reinvigorating has been absolutely excellent. And I'm not just saying that for selling a lot more X-Men comic books than we used to. But it's kind of hard to ignore the idea that it is a sales thing. The core X-Men kind of titles and the main characters, like Wolverine and the like, are always going to be absolutely solid sellers, regardless of quality, weirdly. There are an awful lot of people out there who do just follow characters, myself included. Hand up, I've bought some quite bad Daredevil and Hellblazer. But with things like X-Men, it tends to be a little bit worse. Not less worse quality, I mean, there's a lot more people who will buy them regardless of quality. Not to say everyone. Quite a few people in my store have dropped titles or added stuff on because they've been reading them as part of the Ten of Swords crossover and realised that stuff's a lot better than they thought it was. Some people have been like, well, I only enjoy these couple. I don't want to get it as part of a crossover because that's going to mean I'm not going to get the full story. So I'm just going to take a couple of months off. So there are discerning people out there. That's absolutely true. But when you do another launch of something straight after an event and you've got a name like Al Ewing involved, that's going to get a lot of people involved. And it has. It's not quite selling as many as the core X-Men title, but it's pretty darn close second. I think, third, really. Wolverine second. But is it worth it? And that's the question. That's why I'm here. In fact, I'm here to do a review. But this one, it's good. It absolutely is. But it falls a little bit at the first couple of hurdles. Let's talk about artwork first, because the first bit of art we get is frankly glorious. Sword-shaped space station mixed with Krakoan biotechnology. Sorry, somebody's bid on an item on eBay. And it's hovering in space, and it looks absolutely amazing. And instantly, I'm like, okay, I'm in this one. This is clearly going for a nice bit of sci-fi kind of thing. And then you get Cable's face there, which just looks a bit weird. And that's like 2 pages later. And the faces seem to be a problem throughout. Sometimes they're brilliant. There's some characters which this artist, I don't know off the top of my head, just gets absolutely spot on. Hard to deny they look fantastic. But even Eric Lencher, who gets some brilliant facial expressions sometimes look like he's been kind of just rushed a little bit. And that's a shame. When it comes to writing, Eric Lencher has done perfectly well. There's times when he is cold and distant, when he's magisterial and authoritative. There's times when he's friendly and down to earth. And there's times when he seems to just do some of those things to wind up people who he doesn't like. There's some other wonderful examples of him just like not caring about somebody and occasionally forgetting people's names, which I'm not sure he actually did. I think he knew the person's name, just pretended he'd forgotten to wind them up, which again strikes me as very Eric Lencher. And the writing throughout actually is great. The story is fantastic. They are going hard sci-fi on this one. I mean, floating space station, biotechnology, of course you can do something like that. But before it gets to that point, it does the get the team together kind of thing. Not strictly speaking true. They're not getting the team together. The team are there. They're on a station. They're already ready to go on their big thing that Eric's there to see. But you still have to kind of get introduced to them. And sometimes that's fun. Like they do it in a kind of cool way. Because you've got the Hickman method of just putting pages of information up there in graph form and the like. You can do a lot of that like exposition just there for people who want it without necessarily slowing down the rest of the comic book, which is something I really quite like. I think when I was reading his Black Monday Murders and I had a lot of that kind of information presented that way, it made the read a hell of a lot more enjoyable for me. It didn't feel like it was slowing anything down. I just chose to spend some time to read something which would add more to the story. If I didn't want to, I could have carried on and it'd have been just as enjoyable. And that's the same with the X-Men stuff at the moment. It's not just Hickman's doing it, but because he's doing it, he's kind of giving people the license to. And it works really quite nicely. It keeps the story flowing. And as I mentioned previously, this is a hard sci-fi story. There's actually quite a bit of debate about whether or not their station represents mutant kind or just Sol, whether it's thinking on a planetary or a galactic level, which is a big part of that kind of hard sci-fi mindset. And there's also when they actually get to see the sci-fi that they're doing using mutant technological devices, or they're not devices, they're people working in a system, which is quite a nice way of looking at things. And they use it to kind of go beyond any thing they'd done before. They actually broken some laws. I can't remember the exact phrase they use for it, but they go further and faster and come back with something which apparently is going to change everything. without actually telling you what it is they've got. Like, they didn't tell you where they've gone to get it and exactly what it is. Could be that if you're a Marvel fan, you already know. It could be that this is part of mutant storytelling they've been looking for ages. I just don't know because I don't read much of mutant stories. But even not knowing didn't take anything away. Actually ended at this really cool point where I'm like, yes, this is great. This is some huge sci-fi thing going on. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And I do want to see what's going to happen. Not sure I'm going to put it on my pull list because I think it's going to run that risk of a lot of the X-Men stuff where if I don't read the rest of them, I'm probably not going to get a full accounting of what's going on. And yes, I know in a comic book, so I could technically just read stuff without buying it. But it's just the time put into it when there's a lot of stuff I'd rather read. Not so much rather read than Sword. Sword is great, but I'm not necessarily too fussed about a lot of the other X-Men stuff. There's things I'd rather spend my time reading. So it's good, but hamstring also slightly being part of the Marvel X-Men universe. Anyway, that's it for me for now. The first of my actual official best of year titles will be getting revealed later on today. I spent an awful lot of time working on the back of a notepad to figure out exactly what's going to be there. If you want to know what it is, go check it out. See you later. Bye. Man, I was going to sneeze.